behemoths that can stop the run and get pressure. But man, I have them going 5-13. And this is the one thing that really kills Matt Rule. After their first two games, they play the Saints, the Cards, the 49ers, the Rams, and the Bucks.
Yikes.
He's not even going to make it to the half of the season. He's getting the ejector seat by week 8.
He's getting the haircut by week 8. All right, so you boys agree. First, second, and third place. That leaves one spot left, the Falcons. And I think, Lugs, you've got some time left in your playing days. Are you starting quarterback down there in Atlanta? Who the heck is playing for that lowly Falcon team? Is it you? Is it you?
Actually, this time out, I'm going to be a flanker in the old jet style offense from about 30,000 years ago.
Flanker left.
That's a guy just runs down about 3 yards and says, "Don't throw it to me. I don't want to get killed." But anyway, yeah, we've got the Falcons in the bottom position, exactly where they deserve. Gosh, where do you start with these guys? To say they're rebuilding, I just, that's, after the hurricane hits and wipes out your house, you're rebuilding. Well, it hit them. Hurricane, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, they've got Marcus Mariota, who has shown some flashes, but to me, he's a glorified backup. Desmond Ridder, our boy from Cincinnati, he might get a little playing time, actually. Just depends. I like the kid. So I can't say anything good about the offensive line, defensive line, backfield, anything, really. So I've got the Falcons going 5-12.
5-12 in the 17-game season. I thought you might make them like 5-11. They wouldn't even have an extra game, and they might just walk away. And I got a feeling about this. I think T-Dog might have these boys wearing the collar. But, Arthur Blank, the Home Depot guy, he owns the Falcons, and it's, their slogan is where doers get things done. I don't think they're going to get much done. Are they, T-Dog?
About the collar thing, you might be right.
You might be close.
Right. You know what? They just kind of like
schedule.
Like Lug said, you just look at their team in terms of talent. Again, if we're gonna say they have a strength, and they do have, I'd say, a strength to a degree. Mainly, it's one player, AJ Terrell, the corner. He is one of the top corners in the league. Unfortunately, he's on such a bad team, no one really notices. It's not his fault. They signed free agent Casey Hayward to play opposite of him. And, obviously he's getting later in his career, but I think Casey Hayward, particularly as a number 2 now, can be pretty good. Then you look at the back end of it, the safeties. Jalen Hawkins gives them some takeaways, and Richie Grant, the other safety, he can lay the wood. So they have good components of their secondary. I'm just trying to be nice to them. Now's the hard part. I'll throw the last caveat of nice things. Kyle Pitts is going to be a superstar. It might take a few years for him to really take off. And it's crazy to say this because he had 1,000 yards receiving last year as a rookie. But he's good. And also Grady Jarrett on their defensive line. He is a good player. Now we'll get to the bad part. Their quarterback. Again, Marcus Mariota, God bless him. I loved him coming out of college. And that's another one. If we're going to admit all our things were wrong. I thought Marcus Mariota was going to be great. I was wrong. He played, I believe, he started one game in the last 2 years for the Raiders. I think he mainly played most of the game when Derek Carr got injured. I don't even know if he started, but he played primarily a full game. Anyway, he played well in that game. Again, I'm not going to take away from Marcus Mariota. The weirdest thing is some people are like, oh, he has a relationship with Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator who benched him for Ryan Tannehill. I'm not saying that he hated Mariota and that's why he benched him. But obviously he saw something, I'm not saying he was impassioned to get, to bench Mariota, but he saw he wasn't getting it done, so he replaced him. And if you look at Ridder, I think Ridder, maybe he doesn't start the season. I think he's gonna get a decent amount of starts this year. I'll put it that way. I think Ridder will get starts. I think maybe a month in. And again, this is the other problem, Mariota. He has just durability issues. And again, I'm not saying Ridder's the long-term answer, but he has Kyle Pitts. They drafted Drake London with the number 1 pick, the wide receiver out of USC. He's a big guy, so they have 2 big guys just to kind of go up and get it. But yeah, you look at, I don't know, guys, you look at that team, and they're just trying to tank. And, I'm not blaming them for that. I think it's weird they didn't do it last year, because this is the second year of this regime.
True.
They didn't just try to scorch the earth the first year. I give them 1 win. They avoid the collar, but they're 1-16.
1-16. Wait a minute. That sounds the alarm over there. 1-16 in Atlanta. That's a bad thing for those Falcons. Desmond Ridder gets a start by week, what? 6?
I think like week 5. Yeah. I think maybe 4 games. Mariota gets 4 games, and that's if he could stay healthy. So
1-16. All right, so I'm going to tell our interns here to mark the tape. When Tom Brady gets injured, don't forget, Jimmy G will be the starting QB there in Tampa Bay.
Whoa.
Jimmy G for Tampa Bay. All right, so that's that. That's your NFC South recapping. We have a pretty much unanimous situation. Bucks, Saints, Panthers, Falcons, in that order. Don't get them confused. It will never end any other way. You can take that to the bank, lay it down, lay the wood, play the game. It's all good. All right, let's turn to some more serious news. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will serve a 6-game suspension without pay, but will not be fined for violating the league's personal conduct policy following accusations of sexual misconduct. Disciplinary officer, former Judge Sue Robinson, ruled Monday this week. Lugs, your thoughts on Deshaun Watson?
Well, they say you can't get away with crime. I believe he got away with some stuff. I don't know if it was crime or not. But if the 6-game suspension holds up, which I suspect it will, because the NFL just wants to move past this now. They've just got to, say that people are going to put it in their review very quickly. But 6-game suspension, that's the weakest part of the Browns season. There's only one team out of those 6 that really could beat them. That's the Chargers. So it's the best of all worlds for Deshaun and for the Browns. So I don't say he's going to be the Messiah coming back, because the man hadn't played in 2 years almost.
Yeah.
So I want to see how he comes out, because his first game out, I've forgotten who. I think it's Baltimore. That Baltimore defense is going to be putting some wood to him too. So there you are. I think he probably should have gotten a worse penalty, but it's decided. All parties agreed, so I think it's fine. It's just sad. The man obviously has the issues.
So T-Dog, does the suspension fit the allegations?
I would say not. I mean, I know he's settled 20 of the 24. I think he's settled 23 of them. But again, there's been some great reporting on multiple sites like SI and The Athletic and New York Times on just some of the things that go beyond even those 24. I guess also kind of looking into what Judge Robinson had on a ruling. In addition to those 6 games, he's required not to receive massages other than directed by the club personnel, and shall not have any adverse involvement with law enforcement. So definitely, clearly, they're saying your team will supply a masseuse. You're not going to go look at pictures and find, someone who I guess that you find attractive and then try to, do whatever. I'm not even going to get into that. Also, if he's just going to miss 6 games, the crazy thing is it's only going to cost him $333,000 plus a little plus dollars, just because how they structured their first year, the Browns did. So like it's even from a money standpoint, it's not really going to hurt him because they structured it so it wouldn't. So, I mean, even financially, it's not going to hurt him. I still think that there's a chance he still might get a longer one because Goodell is feeling the heat because it just feels like the initial feedback has been so overwhelming. This is the crazy part about it is they have 3 days to appeal from Monday. So I believe timeline wise, that is August the 4th, correct?
Right.
August the 4th is the Canton Hall of Fame game. So it's in Ohio. They're gonna, if it does happen and they appeal, so it's gonna get an extra little dash of spice from that. But after talking about more, I guess the series aspect to a degree, the just in terms of football, I just like looked at my predictions. I had them going 6-11. Again, if Deshaun Watson plays, all of a sudden that gets torn up to some degree. I think they could go. I think they could go 10-7, possibly 11-6, possibly 12-5. I think 12-5 they can realistically go to 12-5 because before all of this, even with how bad his last season as a starter with the Houston Texans were, if you look at how he played, he was a top 3 quarterback in the league. So it is a huge adjustment for going from Jacoby Brissett to him in terms of like the guy starting. So I forget what the Pittsburgh Steelers record is. I think it'll dent the other ones, but I think it absolutely possibly craters. Maybe it goes from 2 additional wins I gave Pittsburgh over Cleveland to flipping to Pittsburgh taking on 2 more L's. So I think it does swing things.
We'll see how that plays out. Some are saying 6 games is way too light of a penalty for what he allegedly had a part of. So
I'll just say this just to feed on that, and this will be the last thing I'll say on it. The craziest thing is I think going back to the Roethlisberger situation when he was suspended, the craziest thing is I believe that was just one allegation.
Yep.
It was 6.
Exactly.
It was 6 games that got reduced to 4 based on one allegation. This is 24 that have come forward. It sounds like possibly there were more. So I don't know.
Repeat offenses.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about some other stuff on sports and other stuff, including Bill Russell. Little salute to him. Lieutenant Uhura passed away. And first, though, we have sports of yesteryear. Lugs, you ready? Here we go.
All right.
Sports of yesteryear. He's our man out in the field. He's driving a 62 Buick. And he might have been born just recently, but here he is. He's Lugs with our sports of yesteryear.
1906, Chicago White Sox beat Boston Americans 3-0 to start an American League record 19-game winning streak. 1936, Americans Cornelius Johnson, Dave Albritton, and Delos Thurber sweep the high jump medals at the Berlin Games. 1952, 17-year-old future world champion Floyd Patterson wins the gold medal in the middleweight division at the Helsinki Olympics with a first-round KO of Romanian Vasily Tita. 1977. This is in our international news here. 1977, in his comeback test, England cricket batsman Jeff Boycott, that's his name, is unbeaten at 80 after first innings of 107 as England beats Australia by 7 wickets in the third test at Trent Bridge. Don't know about any of that. 2012, get ready. American swimmer Michael Phelps wins an unprecedented 3rd consecutive gold medal in the 200-meter individual medley in 154.27 at the London Olympics, and he did kiss the Queen. So that's your sports and other stuff for this week, friends.
Thank you, Lugs. What's that guy's name? Vaseline? What was his name? What was that guy's name?
Vasily Tita.
Vasily Tita. And he won what again? What did he win?
But no, he lost Romania.
Lost.
But yeah, Floyd Patterson knocked him out in the first round.
Good old Floyd. Okay. Hey, let's move on to some other stuff. Little comment about Bill Russell. He died at age 88. 11 NBA championship, the first ever black coach in the league. 2 of those championships as a coach. Gentlemen, hard to say he's not the best ever, but let's talk about it.
Well, I base best ever on championship rings I always say that Bill Russell was the greatest to ever play the game. He was certainly the smartest.